What? Why are you shaking your head?
You're welcome.
What's up, Fantasy Points? We are here for week 18 of Outside the Box, where every week myself and Scott Barrett, CEO of Fantasy Points, master of dank stats, go through position by position, starting with quarterbacks, then running backs, receivers, tight ends. Sometimes defenses will make some lineups. We're going to be poking holes in the chalk. We'll talk about some contrarian plays that we like. Scott, this is probably the most complicated slate of the season. It usually is in week 18. How are you feeling about it?
Well, you're not feeling too good. I know you're sick, so
Yeah.
Shout out to Neil for powering through. He would really love to just be in bed right now, taking a nap, but the listeners, the viewers come first, so shout out to you. And I'm feeling nauseous myself just because this slate is so gross. I hate this slate. I don't like it. This doesn't seem all that fun to me. I don't see myself going too outside the box. It's not really the sort of slate where I think you should. But that being said, Darren Manser, who does our ownership projections and is probably the best preseason DFS analyst in the game, loves this slate. Jake Tribby, who is easily, far and away, the best UFL analyst in the game, alongside yourself, Neil, loves this slate. So, yeah, and that's kind of what week 18 always is. It's kind of like a blend of, weeks 1 through 17 and a blend of preseason and a blend of UFL. UFL, there's a tight end on the Browns who Jake is really excited about because of the UFL. There is a quarterback on the Eagles who's starting who has made us a lot of money in preseason DFS that we're excited about. And so I don't know, maybe as we talk this out, I'll get more and more excited. But I will say it's a difficult slate, and I'm kind of appreciative that I did unload the clip last week and had tremendous success. Ooh. I was Chase Brown away from winning hundreds upon hundreds of thousands of dollars. And it was a huge week for the Fantasy Points subscriber base. We had people, our subscribers, finishing first, third, 23rd, 26th, 29th in the SPY. I was one of those. That's just one $100 entry tournament. And so among all of us combined, it was, over $150,000. And so, I hope we can carry this through. Really nailed almost everything except for Chase Brown, where upon reflection, that was just a bad miss by me. He had hit like 16 fantasy points in like 8 straight games and was the RB3. And, we talked about, we liked him. I just didn't get there, and I whiffed on Tyrone Tracy, but nailed the Gene T fade. I don't know. I'm rambling. You told me to ramble because you're not feeling well. Neil, save me here.
You reminded me that I do have a bone to pick with you. As Ryan told me that I cannot let you live this down. That I would have won the flea flicker for $50,000.
Oh my God!
Except at tight end, I used Elijah Higgins instead of Michael Mayer as my $2,500 tight end, which never would have crossed my mind to play Elijah Higgins. Except one guy kept telling me I'm gonna. I don't actually blame you, because I think you made a compelling argument, and I used my own free will, and I thought that's a really strong argument.
No. This is what being. This is the name of the game. I'm your Huckleberry. I'll take full blame for this. I was excited about that. Was my Galaxy Brain play of the week, and folks, the Galaxy Brain giveth and it taketh away. And it probably taketh away more than not. That's why we call it the Gal Brain or the Neil Ass play. I will say some slight vindication. The most profitable sub probably in our Discord, RS Bathla, who's a top 10 DFS player in the world. He won the Millie Maker twice. He hit me up and he said, hey, I'm just getting to your article now, but I really like Elijah Higgins this week. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's my Neil Ass play of the week. And then your boy, who's really sharp and a pro, said the same thing.
BP Colonna?
No. Adam?
Oh, Adam, shit my money. Yeah.
Yeah. So a lot of sharp people, a lot of DFS pros did get there, but yeah, so how much money do I owe you, Neil?
Yeah, 50. I don't know, 25,000. Do we split that? I don't know how that works out, but yeah, went from would have won 50,000 and instead lost money on the slate overall. I think
this is a costly friendship for you now, Neil.
Really tough friendship for me. The lineup that you and I made in the Millie was really close to being awesome. We were just like a couple plays away.
Chase Brown away.
Chase Brown away or Ramondre Stevenson, who I played 24% Ramondre Stevenson. He was my Neil last play last week, and that one worked out pretty well, but not well enough.
Yeah, Scott's not allowed to give Neil last plays anymore. You're the Neil last play king, so like, what are we doing here?
No, I thought Elijah Higgins was a great call. Sometimes great calls don't work out. That's the name of the game that we play, and you've had plenty of hits. So yeah, I had to give you a little bit of crap about that because Ryan reminded me that I had to not let you live it down.
Oh, absolutely.
I have not looked at the box score or the route share report for last week. Like, was it like, did he shoot back down to like 30% route participation, or was he still running all the routes and just didn't get it done? I did not check that for Elijah Higgins, but it is. I know.
Once we got word that Marvin Harrison Jr. was going to be seriously limited.
Yeah.
And in that nuts matchup, it seemed like it was still above 50%. He just, although Xavier Weaver got a bigger bump. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Watch him go off this week randomly.
I might not have even gotten to that lineup. Like it was, I might not have gotten to that lineup anyway if I didn't have Elijah Higgins bumped up. So it's not actually like that's cut and dry of like,
you're too kind to me. You should be skewering me right now.
I did well in best ball, so I guess I'm feeling good because I ended up having a profitable enough best ball season that I'm now lifetime profitable as a large field best ball player. So yeah, feeling good. All right, let's get into the DFS plays because I know there's a lot to talk about here. Trevor Lawrence, the chalk, he is 6,400 projected for 20% ownership against the pass funnel Tennessee defense. How are you feeling about Trevor Lawrence, Scott?
Oh, he's an elite play. He's an amazing play. I'm Trevor Lawrence's biggest fan now after being his hater for 70 straight starts and that working out quite well for me. I pivoted, I don't know, 3 or 4 weeks ago, and that's also worked out really well for us. The ownership you're going to see is really high. I'll be honest, I take no issue with that. Or I take very little issue with it. Really looks like one of the best quarterback plays we've had in a while. 6,400 is ridiculously low on a really confusing, complicated, ugly slate. The guy is averaging 28 DraftKings fantasy points per game over his last 6 games. He has a best possible matchup against Tennessee. The only qualm you can have here is Tennessee's unlikely to push back. I don't really think that matters with Jacksonville. This is part of why we've been so bullish on Trevor Lawrence, and it comes with the Liam Cohen territory, why you saw Baker Mayfield finish top 3 in fantasy points per game. He hasn't finished top 15 in any other season of his career. It's at least partly because they're so aggressive inside the red zone. Their quarterbacks he allows his quarterbacks to be so greedy near the end zone. So Tennessee's already the league's biggest pass funnel and a top 3 matchup since week 9. Easily number 1 if you exclude the Chris Oladukin Chiefs. The 30-point implied point total, easily highest in the slate. But over the past, 9 weeks, Jacksonville easily far and away number 1 in pass rate over expectation inside the red zone. And then, of course, he has 4 red zone rushing touchdowns over the last 3 weeks. Jacksonville running backs have 0. And so, yeah, if Tennessee doesn't push, that's not a major concern just because scoring position is going to be so strong. And he's been very greedy inside the red zone. And he's just playing at an elite level. It shouldn't be 6,400 in this amazing matchup.
How much are we limited in terms of options because of motivations? Like how many of these teams who would just like X out because of motivations? Have you like done any kind of running the numbers there of just like we really only have 12 quarterbacks to choose from because half the teams are completely checked out?
We have like a decent pool. Okay. It's just I mean, we're going to be spending a lot of time talking about Jackson Dart, who has literally zero pass catchers, Tyler Shuck, who has literally zero pass catchers, Tanner McKee, who has one start in his career, and et cetera, et cetera. So it's like,
Yeah.
there's guys to talk about. It's just no one on par with Trevor Lawrence, averaging 28 DraftKings fantasy points per game over his last 6 games in a best possible matchup.
Right.
But I'm going to send you, Graham Barfield has this great tweet that you can pull up on the screen, where it's kind of color coded in Excel, highlighting motivations, which teams are dead, who we know is starting or resting starters, like the Chargers, Packers, Bills, and Eagles. And so that was something I leaned on heavily when writing the slate breakdown this week.
Okay, let me pull this over. There we go. You can see it now, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay, good. We've got the motivation pulled up. All right. So everybody, I mean, I'll just encourage everybody to go, excuse me, find Graham Barfield on X at Graham Barfield. You can find this chart for yourself. All right, let's moving on down the line. Jackson Dart playing against Dallas. He's 5,700, projected for 10% ownership. Now Dallas, they gave it up on the ground last week. In general, since they traded for Quinn and Williams, though, they've been a pretty big pass funnel. Last week was kind of the exception to the rule, with Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt going off against Quinn and Williams and the Cowboys. But in general, this has been a fantastic matchup for quarterbacks. I know Jackson Dart is your boy. How are you feeling about him this week?
I love Jackson Dart. He is, I'm just a big fan and a big truther. Really fun to watch, and playing, I think, at a much higher level than he's getting credit for. And then certainly from a fantasy perspective, you can't even argue the point. If you exclude just that one Vikings game, which was so bizarre, it was one of the lowest P-ROEs of the season, minus 24%. If you exclude that one game, he's averaging 23.3 DraftKings fantasy points per start. That would rank second best on the slate, behind only Josh Allen, who's not playing. And yet he's 1,300 cheaper than the slate's QB2. Also really good consistency. He's finished as a top 12 fantasy quarterback in every one of those weeks, excluding the Vikings game. And then this is a best possible matchup. Dallas's defense ranks dead last in just about everything. Of course, he's going to be without Andrew Thomas, Evan Neal, Theo Johnson, who is battling an illness but was at the Knicks game last night, and Wan'Dale Robinson. And, they're eyeing the first overall pick. But we did, this was one of our narratives last week, was, he was at the podium and he said, I had a conversation with the coaching staff. They're going to let me be me. And then we saw him number of design runs, a number of scrambles, 2 rushing touchdowns, 50 plus rushing yards. And so maybe the lack of, pass catchers, maybe he just runs even more. So yeah, I like him. I think this is about how I'd have it in a vacuum, is who are the 2 best quarterback plays of the slate. I think it's 1, Trevor Lawrence, teardrop, Jackson Dart, teardrop, and then we'll talk about the other names.
Okay. Caleb Williams also at 10% ownership, so I guess he would be next on the list against Detroit. Now, I don't expect Detroit to roll over here. I don't know if you disagree with that. It just does not seem to be Dan Campbell's way to roll over. I suspect they're gonna fight back pretty hard despite being out of the playoffs. How are you feeling about Caleb Williams?
I mean, Dan Campbell's not going to roll over, but this defense has rolled over every Sunday for the past. So it's awful defense. And yeah, and this is something we've seen from Caleb Williams, who's been one of the most schedule sensitive quarterbacks in fantasy. He really has beat up on these bad teams. And so, yeah, I think he's a good play. He's a strong play. I'll say Colston Loveland's probably my favorite stacking partner. You're going to see Luther Burden catch ownership. Ryan likes DJ Moore as a contrarian option. I kind of think that's interesting. And so, yeah, he's not one of my favorites, but he for sure made the pool, and I dedicated some of my word count talking about him.
Okay. Tyler Shuck against Atlanta, just 5,300 for Tyler Shuck. I think you mentioned that he's missing all of his pass catchers. How do you feel about 8% Tyler Shuck?
Well, yeah, that's the thing is, Jackson Dart missing all of his pass catchers, okay, but we know to go to Darius Slayton. That's a cheap stack. Tyler Shuck missing everyone, but obviously we got to go to at least Jawan Johnson, who's already, incredible volume. And now you remove Devon Veely and Chris Olave. You also have, in this instance, a Kevin Austin, maybe a Dante Pettis, if you want to double stack and just like be able to afford everyone. But yeah, he's been solid. He's been steadily improving, I think, every week. Really good volume on the ground and through the air. So yeah, he's another solid, strong play. But just both of these guys are a cosmic tier, or multiple tiers, I think, behind Trevor Jackson.
Okay. Do you have any other quarterbacks that you want to talk about? I mean, are there any that, kind of outside the box quarterbacks that you're thinking about loading up on?
We do have one more. I don't know that he is too contrarian, and then we do have one that is quite contrarian. Tanner McKee. I am just a Tanner McKee guy. Mike Redder is one of my buddies. We work together at PFF. And, one of the best prospect evaluators in the game. And I don't know that I've ever seen him stand up and jump up and down on a table for a prospect like he did Tanner McKee, who has really looked incredible whenever he's been given the opportunity. In week 18 of last season, he had 269 yards and 2 touchdowns, scored 19 DraftKings fantasy points. Even more interesting, that was far and away Philadelphia's biggest P-row of the season. It was a meaningless game with a backup quarterback. Maybe they're thinking about, hey, this is a guy we could trade, or maybe this is a guy we want to get a good long look at, or maybe that's just Nick Sirianni, just like, I'm gonna stun on you with my backups. That's what I do. Dude is like so obnoxious and annoying to me. And in the preseason too was just like insanely efficient. So there's just like confirmation bias here, and like I'm rooting for him because I like Mike Renner so much. But last year, preseason plus postseason combined, went 50 for 70, 575 passing yards, 7 touchdowns. And I think he did all that in just like 5.5 quarters of play, something like that. Very few drives. So like elite fantasy point per drop back. And so this is one I can't tell if he's a really good player or if it's just one I'm sort of rooting for. But 4,500, I think this is interesting, and this is another case where we get the cheap stack. I know Chris's projections really like the Darius Cooper, who's sort of like in the Trey Tucker mold. But I don't know. I strongly prefer Jahan Dotson. Dotson balled out in week 18 with Tanner McKee last year. He has that round 1 pedigree. So yeah, 3,800. That's another really cheap stack.
Man, those are some tough words. I strongly prefer Jahan Dotson. It is a revenge game, I guess, for Jahan Dotson too, against the Commanders.
Oh, geez. So, yeah. I didn't. Yeah. Come on.
Jahan Dotson, just like I made the point on every show that I've thought about playing Jahan Dotson in Showdown. It's like, is AJ Brown out? He can put up a decent fantasy score. If he's in, it's like 3 max. He's so bad at fantasy when.
Oh, I also like Grant Calcaterra too. Sorry.
Okay. So McKee with Jahan Dotson and or Grant Calcaterra and or Darius Cooper. All right. Do you say you had one more?
Yeah, Trey Lance. What is the ownership projection on Trey Lance?
1%.
Yeah, so that's a bit low. Concern here is this is a brutal matchup, up against an elite defense that's playing all out to win. But Trey Lance, for those who don't know, is sort of like a slightly less athletic Anthony Richardson, but like I think more competent. In 4 full games, 212.3 passing yards per game, 10.8 rushing attempts per game, 50 rushing yards per game. Only Lamar Jackson, Justin Fields, and Tim Tebow average more rushing yards per game. So yeah, I think I just think there's like a decent chance he scores. He scores, I don't know, like maybe even hits the 100-yard bonus on the ground. Like that could very well happen. So as a 1% large field tournament guy, I think he's pretty interesting.
Are there any player incentives for you at quarterback that make any kind of impact that you're like, oh, he only needs, 250 passing yards, or like there are a couple quarterbacks, Stafford and Dak, fighting for the passing title? Like, does that do anything for you, or is it kind of an afterthought on this slate?
Yeah, I didn't write them up, but I'm sort of regretting it. I think they're both going to be under-owned. Matthew Stafford in particular, up against a really bad defense. I really want Drake May to win because many of our subscribers are going to win $30,000+ each if Drake May gets MVP, and like, I don't know, Stafford's down to like plus 2,500. But I mean, like you never know. And so it's one of those things where I don't think any site is going to have Dak projected too well or Matthew Stafford projected too well. But what if they are going all out? Then they're going to be seriously under-owned relative to the upside. So, if you want to make a few milli lineups after the show with those quarterbacks, I wouldn't be entirely against it.
All right. Yeah, I'd be willing to shoot some of those out. Any other quarterbacks you want to play? Or should we move on to running backs?
I don't think so. We wrote about a few other names that I ended up excluding from the slate breakdown.
Okay. Running back, Bijan Robinson, what a king. Made me a lot of money last week in best ball. Man, is he good. He's fun to watch. He plays the Saints this week. Bijan Robinson, 37% projected ownership at 8,700. Atlanta hasn't had anything to play for weeks, and they continue to play their starters. I assume we expect more of the same. How do you feel about Bijan this week?
Yeah, I mean, he's just an amazing play. There's not really much else you need to say. Over the last 3 weeks, it's been like 250 yards from scrimmage, 190 yards from scrimmage, 213 yards from scrimmage, like coming really close to hitting 3-point bonuses through the air and on the ground. He's just sick. I think there's a chance he sets the record for most yards from scrimmage in a season. I think he needs like passing numbers like 285 or something, but just based on what he's done these last 3 weeks, maybe that's even possible. Best value at the position. Great play.
Wouldn't it be hilarious?
Not even that highly owned, 37%.
Yeah,
I think
reasonable.
we had it at like 50 earlier. And so maybe just the anchoring bias there makes me think 37 is kind of nice.
So Jadon Blue is kind of a best ball darling this summer. Did 0 all season. It would be so funny if in week 18, Jadon Blue is the guy that goes off. He's only 4,300. We have both Malik Davis and Javonte Williams out. How do we feel about Jadon Blue?
Well, if Phil Maffa's out, he's probably the best value running back. Maffa is still dealing with that shoulder. But if Maffa plays, then yeah, I like him less than Jalen Wright. I like him less than Ray Davis, probably. Certainly at ownership. So that's sort of how I'm viewing this situation.
Okay. Jahmyr Gibbs, 8,000 projected for 26% ownership. How are we feeling about Gibbs?
Yeah, another awesome play. This elite usage and production since Dan Campbell took over. Probably more upside than Bijan Robinson. Across his last 10 games, he's averaging 40 DraftKings fantasy points per game in the top 50% of those games. So just another elite play. I would have said he's, maybe a good pivot off of Bijan, but I don't know. I think the lineups that I've been making, I've had both of them on. I've been trying to get both of them on there.
Ashton Genty, I know he was a fade last week. This Kansas City defense, they're trying out some younger players. How are we feeling about Genty this week?
Yeah, he didn't make my pool. We wrote him up and then I just crossed it out. I mean, it was similar to the argument we made last week where it's like, this guy sucked all year behind the worst offensive line. Why are we going to play him into ownership? And so I just think there's a lot of running back value this week or premium options, and I don't put him in with that mix.
Okay. You mentioned Jalen Wright, liking him better than Jadon Blue if Phil Maffa is in. How much do you like Jalen Wright?
Yeah, I like Jalen Wright a lot. I kind of think we see him get a full-on bell cow workload. We can look back at that Jets game where he had 24 carries, 107 rushing yards, 3 targets. And Mike McDaniel's track record with the running back position is really better than anyone's, especially when you factor in draft capital into that mix. And so, yeah, I think, you also had 75% of the backfield XFP in that Jets game. So yeah, he's my favorite of this cheap backup running back turn starter group.
Okay. We talked about liking Trevor Lawrence, and Tennessee has been a pass funnel, but they're also, I think, beatable on the ground. ETN getting 12% ownership at 7,100. Do you like ETN, and would you play him in lineups with Trevor Lawrence?
No, I don't think I will play him. That seems a bit expensive to me, certainly relative to a Jahmyr Gibbs who's only 900 more. And like I said, over the last 3 weeks, Trevor Lawrence has 4 rushing touchdowns. Travis inside the red zone. Travis Etienne is 0. So that's not too compelling to me. Also, Basil Tutin's back.
That's right. Chase Brown, we were a Chase Brown away last week. He gets this Cleveland defense that seems to have given up. How are we feeling about Chase Brown this week?
Yeah, I think he's fine. He's hit 13. Oh no, he's 13. He's hit 32 DraftKings fantasy points in back-to-back games. He averages 22.1 since week 8. That ranks 4th best. That's only 0.6 behind Bijan Robinson. He has a low of just 16 DraftKings fantasy points over that span. And we all know Cleveland's defense has collapsed into a massive run funnel since their bye. They're also an easy bottom 5 matchup. So Chase Brown, I don't think he compares to Gibbs. I think Gibbs is an exponentially better play. Bijan's an exponentially better play, but it's sort of similar to last week where maybe he gets forgotten, maybe he gets lower owned, maybe he works as leverage off of some of these Bengals players. So he's in the mix. He's not one of my favorites, but like I said, if I played him last week, I would be sitting on, I don't know, maybe $500,000 right now.
Oh, brutal. I pulled up the bell cow report just because I was curious to see like how much of a split it has been, because it feels like a pretty big split with Samaje Perine, but over 15 carries per game for Chase Brown, over 4 targets, so not actually that huge of a split. Chase Brown still pretty strong workload. Which other running backs do you want to talk about?
That's a good question. I like Ray Davis, especially on FanDuel, but I like him kind of everywhere. He, without James Cook in week 6 last year, he had 152 yards from scrimmage, 18.2 fantasy points. It was more of a committee than we were expecting, a 60% snap share. But perhaps more importantly, he balled out. In week 18 last year, they gave the first quarter to James Cook before they turned to Ray Davis. In the final 3 quarters, 15 carries, 2 targets, again, 62% of the snaps. But what was notable to me was Buffalo easily posted their lowest PRO of the season in that game. So I think without the starters in, barring just one snap for Josh Allen, he should get a very robust workload. I think he's very talented. The one caveat here is that James Cook has a 47-yard lead on Jonathan Taylor. The Colts play at 1:00. So if Jonathan Taylor ends the game with 45 rushing yards, I expect Ray Davis to start and play the entire game. If it's only, if he gets 57 yards, I expect James Cook to play until he gets 10 yards, and then it's the Ray Davis show. So he's another one of these 4K values, and an extreme value on FanDuel, but certainly a very strong play on both sites.
Okay, so you're going to be monitoring Jonathan Taylor's production to see how much James Cook might eat into Ray Davis's production. I was just trying to look. It looks like you already have Breece Hall out, so that's good to see.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I haven't given that one enough thought yet.
Okay,
we have already ruled him out.
You have, yeah.
All right, so sort by fantasy points per dollar. All right, no one's in the top 10, so
yeah,
I guess Chris doesn't love Braylon Allen and Kenny Nwangwu.
Kenny Nwangwu,
Freak athlete. One of
Khalil
the freakish
Herbert. Yeah. So as of right now, nobody popping. Maybe we'll get some kind of rumblings that will make one of these Jets running backs look pretty good, but not so far. I was curious about Dylan Sampson, who he's not really popping at all. What's his? He's 5,200, so the price is up a little bit. Does still have that nice matchup with the Bengals. Do you have any interest in Dylan Sampson?
Yeah, I know you just kind of play running backs against the Bengals regardless. He only had a 36% snap share last week. That kind of makes me nervous. But yeah, I wrote him up. I think he's fine. I also wrote up Tank Bigsby and RJ Harvey and Tyrone Tracy. I think they're interesting. Kyron Williams is really someone who I've gone back and forth on. I think he might be an elite play. I think he might be a trap. I don't really know. If the 49ers lose on Saturday, I think that would make me like him even more. Blake Corum's dealing with this ankle. So he could be locked into a bell cow workload, but Sean McVay, this is one of the trickier things, which is why I said, Stafford, if you play him, you want to go all in sort of. Sean McVay is saying he's going to play his starters regardless of what happens. I don't trust him. Like, he's one of these, coach speak index coaches who frequently lies. He also didn't say whether they're going to play the whole game or not. And he's always just screw seating, benched his starters week 18. I mean, that hasn't really worked out well for him recently, but I don't know. That's a tricky one for me. And so I think the way around it is sort of lean into it heavily or just ignore it.
Yeah. We're assuming Blake Corum's going to be out, right? So it'll be Kyron's show. Okay. All right. Who else? And anybody else that you want to talk about at running back?
I think Travion is interesting.
6,100, 8% ownership.
Yeah, I mean, he has proven upside. It's a really good matchup. I know Ramondre, Neil asked play last week, but he outcarried Ramondre 19-8. I think he's the more talented back. I think he's getting slept on a little bit this week, but yeah, I don't know how much I'm gonna. I imagine I'm gonna eat the chalk, and when I say eat the chalk, actually, I do want to point out that our projections are pretty different from the other sites. So maybe just eat the projected values according to Chris's projections, because so that's what I want to do this week. Like, I don't think I need to go intentionally contrarian just because we're so already naturally different from everyone else who I think these other sites might have their head up their asses this week. It's a really difficult week. So if you're not putting in insane hours like Chris and Jake and Graham and Ryan and myself, I just think we have a big edge, and I'm just going to lean into that.
Love it. So what Scott is saying, you go to projections and rankings, DFS, pull up the projections page, go to running backs, sort by fantasy points per dollar. You're going to find some of the best running back plays. I think that makes a lot of sense. Just go there. Or, I know you're partnered with the solver. You can do the same thing in the solver. Use the fantasy points projections, sort by fantasy points per dollar. You'll find some awesome plays at running back. Do you want to move on to wide receivers?
Let's do it.
All right. Man, pretty flat at the top. We have 4 projected between 20 and 21% ownership. Amon-Ra St. Brown getting 21% at 7,700. How are we feeling about Sun God?
Yeah, I like Amon-Ra a lot. I think he's, for sure a must play for cash. He's the cheapest he's been since week 4, but it's basically a best possible matchup against the Bears, who are extremely vulnerable in the slot. This projects as a high scoring shootout. And that's really when Amon-Ra St. Brown tends to have his best games. So I think, I think he's a player, 21% doesn't scare me. I think I'm still going to be clamoring to get him into lineups.
So we're playing some Trevor Lawrence, but he is chalky. So I'm curious, are you going to be going with chalkier stacks, finding ways to get different? We have Jacoby Myers 5,600 projected for 20% ownership. Parker Washington, 5,100 projected for 12% ownership. And then Brian Thomas Jr., 5,300 projected for 7%. How do you plan on going about playing your Trevor Lawrence stacks? Who do you like of the Jacksonville receivers?
I really don't have a great strategy here. I think Jacoby Myers is the biggest value for sure. He's easily seeing the best volume since he's joined the team, but we haven't seen a true ceiling game from him. Maybe it comes this week. And then you have Parker Washington, who we have seen the ceiling games, and I think stylistically is an ideal fit for Trevor Lawrence. We have also BTJ, who Ryan thinks is really underrated. One of his favorite contrarian plays, just because of the schematic matchup. He's looked a bit better in recent weeks and has that big play potential as the high ADOT deep threat. So you can go a number of different ways. Honestly, I don't have any good advice here. Probably at ownership, I'd look to get away from Jacoby. That's what I did last week. I went to Parker. That worked out well for me. And so, yeah, that's the trickiest thing about Trevor Lawrence this week is difficult to stack, and maybe a reason why to consider some of these cheaper quarterbacks with their cheaper stacking partners.
Yeah, I like the idea of trying out Brian Thomas Jr. I'm going to pull up just the last 3 games, see how things are trending for the Jaguars. But I think he's probably getting healthier. Let's see. BTJ over the past 3 games, he is behind the other 2. That's pretty interesting. It's just 16 targets, but still that's over 5 targets per game.
Yeah, but check out XFP or air yards. I'm sure it
Yeah.
looks much closer because he'd like higher quality targets.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he's at 31.1, Jacoby 40.9, Parker Washington 44 over the past 3 games. So a little bit behind those 2, but honestly, I mean, that's a 3-game sample. I think he probably still has the skill that he had last year where he was an elite receiver. I like the shout of Brian Thomas Jr. just as a way to get contrarian within a stack that everybody else is going to be playing. Not that he's like super contrarian, 7%, but yeah, I think a lot of different ways to mix and match the receivers. You can throw Brenton Strange in there as well. And we know he has a big play upside, so I like the BTJ shout. Michael Wilson, 6,600. I mean, I think Marv not playing this week, so we can assume that Michael Wilson back to his elite role where he was crushing for a while. How do we feel about 6,600 Michael Wilson at 20% ownership?
Yeah, Chris's projections don't like him as much as I do. I kind of called him a must play for cash, and this is going to be a player I'm going to have heavy exposure to this week. Just those 4 games without Marv, 14.8 targets, 124.8 yards, 27.2 fantasy points per game. Even if you want to say that's unsustainable, there's like a pretty fall far from 30% better than any other wide receiver in fantasy to, I don't know, a decent regression to the mean. So at only 6,600, I'm going to have heavy exposure to Michael Wilson.
We got a super chat for a season-long question, but it reaches our threshold of $10.
18?
Yeah, week 18 reaches our threshold. Need line advice: quarterback, 2 running back, 3 wide receivers, super flex, along with a tight end. So no flex, just super flex.
This is really complicated. And also, my advice to your question would be to lobby your commissioner to move your championship week to week 16, honestly. Screw week 17. Move it to week 16. I'm going to have to do some math on this. I could use our AI to help me look at our projections for this.
I think you 100% lock in T-Law, right?
Yeah.
Like he's...
Yeah.
Here, I'll pull up the fantasy point projection for quarterback.
Ball knowledge, fantasy points AI can handle this really easily, but our listeners hate this. You should have charged more money for
You were the one who set the price, Scott. Let's see. Trevor Lawrence is the highest. You just play the highest projected player. So that is the real answer. Trevor Lawrence is the highest projected of that group. Looks like Tanner McKee projects for 16. Lamar projects for 16.5.
Yeah. Okay.
So it'd be 100% Trevor Lawrence, then probably Wait, Lamar, Ward. Okay, is Lamar better than Cam Ward? Yes. So it would be Trevor Lawrence and Lamar. At running back.
All right, let's get out of here. I got
Okay.
AI to give me the right answer. I'm gonna send it to your DMs and you can pull it up, and we can go through it, but just not to derail the show too much.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. We will continue. Back to wide receivers. Oh, and I got to go back to the main slate. Jamar. It's just different order because they're all 20%. Jamar Chase playing against Cleveland. Also, how do we like Jamar Chase?
He's okay. He's good. Ryan, I think, liked him more than the Dallas liked Chase, and Higgins more than the Dallas receivers. I don't know that I agreed with that, but I do think it is fairly close. I think what's scaring me is Cleveland historically owns Joe Burrow and especially owns Jamar Chase. So I personally didn't like that as much as CeeDee Lamb or George Pickens, who are also cheaper. I definitely like Amon-Ra more than Jamar Chase as well. All right, so you pulled it up.
I pulled it up.
Let's answer this guy's question. So he needs two quarterbacks. So you're going with Trevor and Lamar. You need two running backs. You're going with Christian McCaffrey and Chase Brown. And you need three wide receivers. You're going with Sutton, Luther Burton, and Tet McMillan. And you need one tight end. You're going with Juwan Johnson. You need one defense. You're going with Vikings defense. Look how easy this is. Shout out to Ball Knowledge, fantasypoints.ai. If you are a Fantasy Points bundle subscriber, you get unlimited questions. If you're a pro subscriber, you get like 5 questions per week. But look how easy this was. I just copied and pasted your question, and our AI pulled up our projections, and this tells you who to start. Easy game.
Nice. Okay.
That would have taken us like 5 minutes, and we would have lost like half of our viewers.
Yeah, I mean, I think we did anyway, but we did our best. All right. Moving on down the line, Puka Nacua, 9,000, projected for 18% ownership. I mean, we can't play Puka, right? We're too worried about them sitting their starters. Like they seem to kind of limit Puka last week, right? Like he's not going to be a full-time player, is he?
Well, that's my whole thing is I really don't trust Sean McVay,
No.
which is why I think my Puka exposure, and I'll have it, will come as part of a lean into upside Stafford stack.
I like Spelkowski's comment. Fantasy Points AI put a bikini on Scott. One of the big
Nice.
conversations going on right now.
That's great.
Darius Slayton. I know we want to play some Jackson Dart. Is Darius Slayton our go-to at 4,100, 17% projected ownership?
Yeah, he is. And it's just, the argument's easy. You don't really have to say anything more than like, even if he does suck, there's zero target competition. And the last time the Giants played the Cowboys, the receivers scored a combined 74 fantasy points. So I think he's a must for Dart lineups, Prescott lineups. He's a strong one-off punt as well.
And then are we bringing it back with CeeDee Lamb, 7,300, 14% projected ownership?
Yeah, I think Lamb or Pickens, and I don't know that I necessarily have a lean. There's also some concern, like with the Rams, that maybe we see some Joe Milton in this game. But it's a great matchup for two great players. Maybe they want to just stun on the Giants. That could happen too. But
yeah, some
uncertainty that pushes them behind an Amon-Ra St. Brown and some of these other names.
Justin Jefferson all the way down to $5,800 and still not the chalk. Nothing we can do to make Justin Jefferson pop. Are we playing any Justin Jefferson against the Packers?
I'm not, just because he hasn't done anything since week 6.
Yeah.
It's been really, really, really ugly. So
it's been gross. I can tell you. I skipped over Cortland Sutton, also 13% projected ownership at 5,900 against the Chargers. Do we like Cortland Sutton at all?
Yeah, if you pull up the target share report, it's really easy to love Sutton. He's hit a 25.5% target share in 4 straight games, 17.1 DraftKings fantasy points per game over that span. He's probably going to go up against a bunch of backup Chargers defensive backs. Even if not, it was a good matchup anyway. So yeah, you really see that surge in volume over the last 4 weeks. So he's a strong value. He's always more of like a value to me than a ceiling play, but I don't know. He's still a player I'm going to have a good amount of exposure to.
What did Troy Franklin do to Sean Payton during the Week 12 bye? Because he was clearly the wide receiver 1 for 5 weeks straight heading into the bye week, and then just like disappeared completely after the bye. I don't understand.
Bro, I have no idea what Sean Payton does with these. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah.
He has a bunch of my guys on that roster. He's Marvin Mims, Elijah Moore, Troy Franklin, and he just I don't know. Plays musical
bizarre.
chairs with their playing time.
Yeah. All right. Drake London, 6,900, 10% projected. I guess we're getting down into the low enough ownership that I can just open it up to. Are there players? Somebody in chat asked about Kevin Austin with no Chris Olave, 3,400. Do we like Kevin Austin? Who else do we like?
Austin to me is a little bit more of a cash play than a tournament play. I don't know that I see really good upside there. Jawan I like a lot more. Dante Pettis is more of a big play threat with like at least a proven track record of real NFL production. But yeah, he's one of our top values if you sort by fantasy point per dollar. So he's in the slate breakdown. I did talk him up a little bit. You also have Jerry Jeudy. Just there's no one else. So volume should be good. Although the volume's been good for the most part all year. And he's really done nothing. Adonai Mitchell too, same thing. Should be going up against a bunch of backup defensive backs. And we know the volume's going to be good. And he's just a boom or bust player. So, maybe he booms and you get a tournament winning score. I think we could trust him more than some of these scrubby wide receivers like a Kevin Austin and a Dante Pettis and a Trey Harris. So, yeah, and that's just kind of pick your poison, but I do have my clear favorites. You could read more in the slate breakdown.
Okay. Anything else? Anybody else you want to talk about at wide receiver?
Not that I can remember.
Okay. Let's move on. Tight ends. Juwan Johnson is the chalkiest as the remaining starting pass catcher for the Saints. He is projected for 22% ownership at 4,200. We've got the shower narrative with Tyler Shuck. How do we feel about Juwan Johnson?
I think he's a great play. He has more catches and receiving yards than Jacoby Myers, Ladd McConkey, Tyler Warren. He's cleared 88 in back-to-back games, and now Chris Olave, who's had a 35% target share over the last 2 weeks, is out. Devon Veely is out. And so there's really nowhere else for the ball to go. He's the only active player on the team with multiple games with more than 3 receptions this year. So clear top value, but I don't know that he's sort by fantasy points per dollar. I think we might have a favorite tight end who no one is playing. There you go. Look at that. Look at that. Is it Greg Dulcich week?
Greg Dulcich week. Once again, we won Fantasy Points team on a showdown slate. Won a lot of money with Greg Dulcich. Maybe we will win a lot of money again with Greg Dulcich on a main slate. Yeah, Darren Waller is out, right?
Yeah, and so I'm really rooting hard for some of these guys. Around the industry, no one's talking about a lot of the players our projections are really high on. And, we're battling out with ETR for the most accurate projections of the year. So definitely rooting hard for Greg Dulcich, but I think he's a great play. I think he's a player I'm going to have heavy exposure to. He's exceeded 40 receiving yards in 4 straight games. Miami is not going to have Darren Waller. They're not going to have Devon Achane. Jalen Waddle dealing with a ribs issue is legitimately questionable. Led the team in targets and XFP last week. So 2,600. There's a lot of these cheap tight ends who are in play. And look at that fantasy points per dollar. That's clearly him this week.
You already mentioned liking Grant Calcaterra with Tanner McKee, also just 5% projected ownership.
Yeah, I do like him. Jake likes Jackson Hawes a little bit more, but I definitely prefer Grant Calcaterra, although Dulcich is I like more, but I'm going to have some Tanner McKee and I'll fit Grant Calcaterra on there. He had a really strong role last year when Dallas Goedert went down, 83% route share, 10.3% target share, but that was with really tough target competition from A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith, neither of which are going to play this week. Like I said, I'm a Tanner McKee truther, so like him as a value.
Yeah. Lot of value at tight end this week. Do you think we're going to be doing
a lot of value at tight end this week?
Double tight end, or do you think that's not necessary because we have enough value everywhere?
Well, I want to play. I think there's a lot of value at tight end and a lot of value at running back, and I like running back value more. So
yeah,
I think I'm going to have a running back in the flex on every lineup.
You mentioned liking Colston Loveland as Caleb Williams' stacking partner. Bretton Strange. I guess I didn't ask you that. We talked a little about the receivers for Jacksonville. Is Bretton Strange still like kind of in the same mix of like not really sure what to do? Like, is he just kind of another one of the options and doesn't really separate?
We haven't seen a ceiling game from him yet this year. There's a lot of tight ends I like, and he's not really one of them.
Trey McBride.
Yeah, I mean, you got to talk Trey McBride. Just since he took over in week 6, only Jamar Chase averages more targets per game or XFP per game. Only JSN averages more fantasy points per game, but he's 1,300 cheaper than Puka Nacua. So he's always in play. I like Michael Wilson more without Marvin Harrison Jr. at the cheaper price tag, but it really wouldn't surprise me if Trey McBride outscored him by a wide margin.
I see a tight end that you mentioned earlier as a fan, as Jake Tribby's favorite. I love it. Sal Cannella, 2,500.
Tell me about Sal Cannella, Neil.
Sal Cannella is just he's one of those guys that like every year comes through in XFL or UFL. And I feel like it's been a couple of years running where he's like not been that great at the start of the year, and it's been like, all right, finally, I guess Sal Cannella fell off, and then by the end of the year, he's the top projected tight end. Just like always ends up looking great. He's been like a dominant spring football tight end. Now he goes to Cleveland as a starting tight end there at 2,500 in a best possible matchup with Cincinnati. I'm not sure that I actually believe Sal Cannella is an NFL caliber tight end, if I'm being totally honest. But against Cincinnati, I think this is the one spot where I might be willing to play some Sal Cannella.
I mean, it's a best possible matchup, and the Browns target tight ends more than any other team outside of the Cardinals. Harold Fannin, David Njoku combined for a 30% target share, even higher than that with Shedeur Sanders at quarterback. So I'm not going to play this a 50-50 route share split last week with Blake Whiteheart. I bet Jake's going to play him. So, maybe this is a chance for your UFL knowledge to come through in the clutch.
I'll stand with Jake and I'll play some Sal Cannella hashtag for the brand. Not because I really believe in it, but I also do believe in, as Spelkowski says, since he isn't an NFL caliber defense. So we get week on week, I think, with a not NFL caliber tight end against not an NFL caliber defense, especially against tight end. So I think Sal Cannella, at zero ownership, 2,500, I'll play a bit. I think you can also go if he's splitting with Blake Whiteheart, he's also 2,500. If you want to go that direction, I think that is probably fine. Also, I also think we need to talk about Kyle Pitts. He's 5,500. Pitts has just been kind of a monster. Other than last week, he's been dominating. How do we feel about Pitts at 5,500, 5% ownership?
I'm not really there with Drake London back, and I think he's banged up too. I think he's dealing with an injury, but maybe that's a blind spot. I don't know.
Okay. Any other tight ends?
Michael Mayer I mean, we went extremely heavy. That worked out well for us. He led the team with 10 targets, caught 9 for 89 yards. Without Bowers this year, 81% route share, 26.8% target share. That's like even better than Trey McBride. Really talented player, as we've talked about, maybe the best backup tight end in football. Yeah. So 3,500, he's another guy to think about. Travis Kelce is a strong value on FanDuel. You can take a shot at that. Chigo Okonkwo without Gunnar Helm. Like I said, there's a ton of tight ends in play. So yeah,
a lot of largely going to be correlating with your quarterback a lot of the time. All right. Do you want to make some lineups?
Let's do it.
All right, we're going to make some lineups. Let's see. There it is. All right, where do we want to start?
You tell
Trevor
me,
Lawrence.
Neil.
Well, we talked about potentially making some like Dak Prescott or Matthew Stafford just to like get some exposure to it. We could do that, or we could just start with Trevor Lawrence and see what happens.
I don't know that I want to play Lawrence in a millie unless I have some really unique stacking angle, which I don't think we have.
What about Jackson Dart?
We can play Jackson Dart.
Dart Slayton.
Yeah, but then what are you doing on the opposite side?
You're playing CeeDee Lamb.
Okay. Why CeeDee Lamb?
Because George Pickens just looks checked out.
Oh,
I don't know.
He's chasing the bag, Neil. He's trying to get paid.
You are right. You are right. He's probably. I'm totally wrong. He's probably going to be going all out here because he needs that next contract, right?
Right. So Lamb or Pickens? What
all right, we're switching to
Jaden
Pickens.
Blue, your boy.
Ooh,
best ball,
right.
darling.
Best ball,
king
darling.
of best ball. Oh, by the way, Tyrone Tracy. Chris's projections freaking love Tyrone Tracy, but that burned me horribly last week. If I played Ramondre instead, I'd be so rich. Oh. So I couldn't bring I wrote him up. I can't bring myself to play him, but Chris's projections better than me, maybe. So keep him in mind.
Okay. We're gonna do Pickens for now. Maybe we might throw in Jaden Blue later, but we'll wait and see on that.
Yeah.
Who else do we want at running back?
Well, we didn't talk defenses at all, Neil. Why do you have any conviction plays at the defense position? Anyone you're really excited about? There's a lot of backups playing the entirety of the game.
Yeah. Let's see.
You might want to pull up our projections. Our projections are good.
Yeah, it's true. All right, so we're sorted by fantasy points per dollar. Vikings defense against Green Bay. Who are they starting Malik Willis this week? I know Jordan Love is out. Forgetting.
I thought Malik Willis is hurt, and they're starting.
I think that's right. Yeah.
They're starting. What's his name?
Clayton Tune.
Clayton Tune.
That's right. That's right. So yeah, Vikings defense against Clayton Tune. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Jets defense up against Bills backups. I like that. 2K.
Yeah.
So there you go. There's really the different tiers.
Any ownership.
All right. We got an outside the box defense, folks. And they've scored like 5 special teams touchdowns this year randomly.
Texans defense against the Colts. I mean, I suppose they're probably.
Oh, yeah. Against Phillip Rivers.
It's not Phillip Rivers. It's Riley Leonard, but.
Oh, even better. Yeah.
Yeah.
Incredible.
They are expensive. All right.
Yeah.
So there's some defenses.
Bronco. Yeah, I mean the pay ups all look great.
Yeah.
DraftKings kind of did a good job pricing these.
Yeah.
Vikings and Jets. I like those angles though.
Yeah. All right. Well, should we throw in the Jets?
Sure. We can always move up.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, we've got a lot of salary left over already.
Wait
Do
till
we
we add
wanna-
Dulcich.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if we throw Dulcich in, we can play whoever we want.
All right, let's do Dulcich, Bijan, Gibbs.
Michael Wilson
Michael Wilson, love it.
and
Jalen Wright.
what's the price tag on Jalen Wright?
48? 42.
42.
Jeez. And let's pay up for defense, Neil.
No, I mean 2,900. What does that get us?
There's a good 2,800 defense.
Falcons.
Yeah. Oh, the
I mean,
3K.
Packers against JJ McCarthy is not bad either.
Oh, there you go.
Boom. Jackson Dart, Darius Slayton with a George Pickens bring back, Bijan Robinson, Jahmyr Gibbs, Michael Wilson, Greg Dulcich, Jalen Wright. Packers defense uses the full salary. There you go.
Boom.
Boom.
We did it. We won $1 million.
We won $1 million. Let's do another one.
Okay.
And let's think about who we want as our stack here. Do we want to do it? Let's do a Tanner McKee.
Let's do it.
All right.
Dotson.
Do we want a double stack or no?
We can. Commander side too. I thought about Debo and McLaurin. I didn't feel like I had a great lean there, but I could see one of them hitting
Yeah.
against backups.
Well, we can think about adding them later.
All right.
Chase Brown.
Sure. Amon-Ra.
Yep.
Bijan. Calcaterra. Jets.
Could do Michael Wilson again. Let's see. Could throw my Terry McLaurin in there and see what running back could fit in the flex.
Let's throw Michael Wilson in there again. I like him.
Okay. Coughing my lungs out here. All right. 6,500 isn't like the best price point.
No.
We
You wanna
could
take
move up from the
Calcaterra out?
Jets. Or we could move up from the Jets, potentially.
All right. Move up to Mayer. Move up to a better defense. See,
All right.
see if that puts us in like Ray Davis, Jaden Blue range.
Let's see if we play the Bills. Then that gives us 5,000. We're 100 away from Parker Washington. Or Deebo Samuel as the bringback.
All right. There you go. Boom. Fit perfectly.
There you go. Tanner McKee double with Jahan Dotson and Grant Calcaterra. Deebo Samuel bringback. We have Chase Brown, Bijan Robinson, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Michael Wilson, and the Bills defense. There you go. 2 million. All right, we're gonna stop there because my coughing has gotten out of control.
Poor Neil.
But it has been fun. Scott, what else do you have coming out in the final week of the regular season.
Yeah, I got the Johnny show on Sunday, and then you guys aren't going to see me for a while. You can watch Cashing Points with Jake, Graham, and Ryan throughout the playoffs, and read Jake's slate breakdown. But yeah, I'm gonna get a little vacation.
Hell yeah, this is an exciting time. The start of the playoffs. I'll of course be doing a lot for the playoffs because we've got a billion short slates, which I love. And I presumably have a Sunday Night Football article out tomorrow at Fantasy Points, so you can look out there. What else? Yeah, so look out for that. I'll be, of course, doing my usual Sunday Night Football breakdown before lock. But yeah, check out Scott's show with Johnny tomorrow morning. Good luck to everybody. Thank you all for hanging out with us all season. Always love doing these shows, and we couldn't do it without your support. So appreciate everybody supporting us throughout this NFL season. I'm sure you'll see more of me and Scott before the next NFL season doing some best ball or whatever else. But yeah, in the short term, this has been it for Outside the Box. Thank you all for hanging out with us this season. Good luck on Sunday, and we'll see you next year.
What?
Why are you shaking your head?
You're welcome.